You're listening to Captain John Doe, real aviation stories told anonymously. Let's get into it. What's up, Doe heads?
I love that name. I really do.
Me too.
Gets me excited every time you say it.
Me too. Doe heads just make sense. We're going to stick with it. I love it. I love it. Welcome back to the next episode of the Captain John Doe podcast. I'm Mindy.
And Kevin.
Your favorite and non-favorite host. Yeah, we know.
Yeah, well, we have a really great show, but we, like everybody else in the aviation world, are finding out about the news about Spirit after 33 years of a completely clean safety record with no incidents. They have ceased operations, and 17,000 employees are on the street as of right now.
That's super sad. And what a powerful statement that Spirit Airlines has never had a accident. Like, that's pretty crazy because everyone shits on Spirit because it's a low-cost carrier and the types of people that ride in the back sometimes have brawls and are a little cuckoo. But I'll say I've known a lot of people that have flown for Spirit and they all love working for that airline.
Right. I've never heard anyone complain about being an employee of Spirit. And like Mindy said, I mean, that the fact that they've gone their entire longevity without one incident.
Yeah, it's pretty freaking cool.
It sucks. I mean, Spirit is a huge market for so many people, not just as a consumer, but as a pilot, as a gate agent, as a dispatcher, as everything. I mean, 17,000 people. So, we're going to pour one out for them. I hope that everybody out there that is dealing with this right now, I hope that it doesn't last very long. I've seen a lot of good things coming out from different carriers and different organizations.
Other airlines are supporting this so much, obviously. So
even interview prep companies are saying that they're giving a free interview prep and free logbook and application reviews for hopefully some new candidates.
I mean, I'm not surprised. The aviation community is so small and tight and family, and it's neat to see everyone rallying around everyone who just got some really bad news when they showed up to work. I saw a friend of ours posted like a dispatcher slip that went to an airplane saying that the Spirit Airlines was ceasing operations, and it's just almost like eerie.
It is eerie.
Freaky to see, like seeing that. What do you call that? Like the piece of paper that comes through on the airplane from dispatch?
I don't know.
It's like a print slip that comes to the cockpit of the airplane.
Their dispatch.
Seeing that, like,
hard.
Yeah, it looks very eerie, freaky.
We were talking about this the other day, and online everybody says this is the industry. This is the industry. In our lifetime, though, like, something like this has not really happened to where there are no jobs. We've seen companies get sucked up and bought out, and airlines have self-imploded-ish, but not necessarily completely shut the doors overnight. And I think for all the younger generation, this is the reality hitting us in the face.
Yeah, I'm sure there's so many things that went into the demise of Spirit Airlines, but one of the things that has to be on the table is that Delta and all these other big brands started offering basic economy, right? They started competing. They weren't cheaper than Spirit, but they were competing in lower costs, but with a big brand behind them. And so people could have a lower cost ticket, but have the Delta experience still.
Just the perception of Delta versus Spirit.
Because people try to not fly Spirit. I've flown Spirit 1,000 times because they were in Orlando base and I'm from Orlando. So I'm in and out of Orlando all the time. So I've flown Spirit a ton. Their big front seats, pretty great, not gonna lie. Like, it's not terrible.
Yeah.
But yeah, you do get a different crowd there, and it just has a stigma. So people want to fly other brands and say they're flying Delta. And so even though Delta basic economy isn't cheaper than Spirit, it's still a cheaper option. It's getting competitive, and you get Delta the status of flying Delta, you could say, and the brand and the customer service and all the things that goes with it. So I'm sure that didn't help Spirit.
No. We don't, I don't want to dwell on it too much because we're not here to give advice on what this outlook looks like. We have no idea. We're reading the same headlines as you. So this past weekend, though, Mindy and I had the privilege of flying our Cessna 182 over to the LA area and landing at the awesome Santa Monica Airport.
Santa Monica's freaking cool airport. That's only my second time there. And man, they're going through some struggles of their own. Their community, not their aviation community, but their actual physical neighbors, some Karens, are trying to shut that place down, and it's really sad. We were talking to some people at Santa Monica before we left, and they were saying it's one of the oldest airports.
Yeah, it's over 100 years old.
It's like 101 years old or something like that. And just from me posting that we were at Santa Monica, the amount of influx of messages that I've got of people saying that they learned to fly there or they've flown there and it was so amazing is astounding. There's a lot of love for the Santa Monica airport, which is why it's so sad that people are trying to shut it down.
And with that being said, if you guys are listening to this podcast right now, on May 12th is basically the last chance that the city council is going to take opinions from the community. So I know it's been spread in the city itself, but you know, if we can do our part, because that airport is, one, it's incredible, the history, but like the accessibility. I mean, there's not another place that gets you right dab in.
It's gorgeous. You come into land, and at least the way we came in, and we landed westbound. So we're looking at the beach. We also took off over the beach. It's gorgeous. They've already shortened the runway to deter bigger jets from getting in. So they shortened it to about 3,500 feet. So that way big jets cannot get in and out. Creative idea, I'm not going to lie. I don't like it, but very creative. I'll give them that. But one thing that they did is they now have JSX flying in and out of Santa Monica, which could really save the airport, because all these Karens that are complaining about airplane noise are hopefully going to be silenced by how convenient it is to drive 10 minutes to Santa Monica Airport instead of an hour to LAX and hop on a flight and not have long security lines and all that, and have this beauty of JSX to hop on. So I just hope that the convenience of having a commercial airline there will actually enhance people's perception of the airport.
Right. If you guys have not flown JSX, for those who are not pilots or flying commercial, JSX basically operates as like a private jet, but it's not. So you just go into the private terminal, hop on the plane and go, which at major airports is really efficient. At Santa Monica, you're in the seat and gone. Like,
yeah,
no delay.
When I fly JSX out of Harry Reid, the terminal is not in the main terminal. You go to a private building at Harry Reid Airport, the main Las Vegas airport, and it's their own terminal, and you show up. I usually show up 25 minutes before departure time, and they take my bags, they put it on the plane, and then a few minutes before departure, they put everybody on, and it's like a semi-private experience, you could say, but it's ticketed, and it's a commercial airline. It's scheduled service. Like, you go on their website and you see all their routes, buy a ticket just like you would for Delta, but it's a way different experience, and those bougie ass California people, I think, are gonna like it.
Let's hope so. I mean, we were getting our clearance when JSX asked for pushback, and from the time they got pushback to take off was like 5 minutes.
Tops.
I mean,
and the whole 5 minutes was waiting for their props to spool up,
right?
Because it's on the ATR.
Right. I mean, that's really what it is get these people to go fly on this airline to Vegas and to Phoenix and realize, wow, I can get there in literally less than an hour.
Right?
Like, total time.
It's freaking awesome. Hold on. I gotta fix my mic.
Anyways, I mean, we can't stress Santa Monica enough. I really hope that the community members who are not pilots advocate for it. Like the other thing too, I don't want to get too much into Santa Monica, but there was so much to do at the airport. And there were so many people there just on random times watching airplanes fly.
Oh, it is a vibrant general aviation community there. Clearly, everybody knows everybody. Everybody's hanging out there on the weekends. It seems like there used to be even more there. Someone messaged me that there used to be a really cool Thai restaurant right where we parked.
Oh.
But there's a lot of observation areas, viewing areas. You can go on the roof of the admin building and watch airplanes take off and land. Anyone can go there. You don't have to have a gate code to get up in there or anything, but really cool place. But the whole reason why we flew there, and we'll tell you guys more about our flight on next episode because we had a maintenance debacle we could tell you about.
Yeah.
But the reason why we went to Santa Monica was to go to Los Angeles and go to the Angel Flight West
Endeavor
Awards, their annual banquet dinner where they thank everyone who's been involved and raise money for the next year. So if you guys are not familiar with Angel Flight is one of the best aviation organizations that exist. They transport sick people for treatments. And we've gone to this awards 2 years in a row now. So we've learned a lot about it. And I've been working with Angel Flight as much as I can because they're so great. But they were saying, there's millions of people that need treatments for, cancer or very specific sicknesses that they have. And it's really difficult to get to treatments. Often these people have to go to specialty places that are 3, 4, 5-hour drive. And they have to do it several times a week. And literally the transportation is either impossible for them and they can't get the treatment they need, or it's so exhausting that is killing them faster than their sickness is, And so where Angel Flight comes in is they are an organization where pilots donate their time and aircraft and resources to fly people to their treatments, which is just so freaking cool. Like what a great aviation thing.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I think it really inspired me this time. I know it's the second time we went, but like we are thankfully getting into a place where we can give back. And, Mindy and I kind of left the awards discussing what our little 182's path going forward is. And, we definitely want to utilize it for more of, missions where we can help people, because they brought a lot of the patients to the awards and, explained their story and explained how they probably wouldn't be alive if, Joe Schmo wasn't flying them to their treatment, which is, incredible, because they're giving up their time, their airplane. And then this organization is a non-for-profit and they help chip in for fuel, which is why it's super important to donate.
So there's Angel Flight is all over the country, but this chapter is called Angel Flight West. So it serves Western USA. It covers like 13 different states. But just quick stats, they've been in service for over 43 years and they have done over 112,000 flights, serving over 30,000 passengers. So for 2026, they flew 487 people across about 1,300 flights. It's just it's incredible to see it all. But if you want to be involved, you can go to angelflightwest.org and you can donate. That helps them arrange all these flights. And there's a bunch of different ways you can donate to them, or you can sign up to be a volunteer. And there's a bunch of different ways you can volunteer. And obviously the top way is you can volunteer to be a pilot and you can fly people to their treatments. And what a rewarding thing to do. And I hope that we get to do that soon.
Yeah, this is something that we're pretty passionate about. So head over to Angel Flight and just take a look at what they do. And we were at the banquet itself. They raised over $900,000, which is incredible.
Yeah.
And I believe her name was Mary. She's head of Angel Flight West. And
yeah, she's a boss.
That was enough money to capture what they did in 2025 for fuel alone, and it was a pretty big deal.
Oh yeah, I didn't even realize that was 2026 stats. So that's what they've only done through today, through early May. From last year, okay, I did that wrong. Last year they served almost 1,400 passengers over about 4,800 flights, like almost 5,000 flights they flew. So just a pretty cool thing. On a lighter note, I found my new favorite LaCroix flavor.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Well,
you're not going to ask about it?
What's your flavor?
Look at it.
Sunshine?
It's called Sunshine. My friends at Sun and Fun introduced this to me. Macy did. It's sunshine flavor. What do you think Sunshine LaCroix sparkling water tastes like?
Little flowery notes, maybe a little nutty flavor.
Nutty? Why would it be nutty?
You know how every single chef always says it's a little nutty?
Yeah, but I want you to actually guess.
Flowery.
Okay, I want you to taste it and tell me if you love it.
It's a little lavendery. There's definitely some fruit in there.
Citrusy, herbal. It tastes like what you would think sunshine would taste like.
It does.
Give it another
LaCroix. What are we doing?
I normally don't even drink LaCroix. I usually drink Spindrift, or we make our own sparkling water. We have a little soda stream thing. But this Sunshine LaCroix is freaking good.
That is good.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for listening to, our angel flight story. It's important. And obviously to our spirit people out there that are listening, we feel for you. You're going to get on your feet. But we got a great show. We got some listeners submitted stories. So as always, head over to our website, www.captainjohndoe.com to submit your stories to our show.
Glad you said www, because if people didn't know that it was www, what would they do?
Listen, the instructors I work with at school are like 19 years old. They don't even understand.
You don't have to type it in.
I know. They don't understand that you used to have to type it in.
Oh, really?
That's what I mean. So I like to say it.
Yeah, you're showing your age that you say www dot.
Well, it's fully anonymous. We read them right here every Wednesday. We haven't missed a Wednesday yet.
No, we've gotten real close.
It's like literally like Tuesday at 10:30.
All of our friends ask us if we do these in batches. Obviously, if you guys listen to this, you know that we are very up to date. This is May 3rd that we're doing it. We're doing it just a couple days before it's out on May 6th. And we're always talking about semi-current events and definitely current events and what's happening in our life.
This is not an event podcast.
No, this is not about that at all. But we are just so busy. Our goal was to record these in batches. That way we could just set it up on cruise control. But it never happens like that. We truly record every single week.
Yeah. I don't even know if we've done 2 in a week.
No, the only time we've ever done a couple in advance was the very first 3 episodes that went out. And gosh, we came a long way since then.
Well, keep this rolling. Help us out. Submit those stories. They're fully anonymous. Ask us anything. Follow on social media. Mindy puts some awesome stuff out. Subscribe so you don't miss an episode. And then reviews are the probably most important thing because it gets the podcast out there. So leave 5 stars only. Just like
I like how you put rules on people. You can only leave 5 stars.
To be fair, I got that from opposing bases.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't.
They say we're only going to read your review if it's 5 stars only.
Oh, okay. Well,
but I'm not reading your review if it's not 5 stars only.
You said you were going to read everything.
We only have 1-star review.
You said that you would read everything.
That's true. And I think I know who it is. And I know you're listening.
Yeah, we have a hater, which is hilarious because that means you love us.
Okay. So R McKnight 7, 5 stars only. Love these podcasts. My favorite podcast. I look forward to Wednesdays with you too. So much fun.
Thank you.
Thank you, McKnight.
We look forward to Wednesdays with you.
Our next merch drawing.
Wait, what was their name?
R McKnight 7.
Cool beans.
Yeah. So our next merch drawing is going to be on episode 45. And that'll be at the end of May because I think I did my math right. So look out for that.
No, I changed the calendar to make it right.
Oh.
You got the math wrong, but I
Anyways,
fixed it.
We're doing a monthly merch giveaway all year long. One winner is selected on the fourth Wednesday of each month. You can enter for free by following us on Instagram and engaging with our monthly giveaway posts. Leaving us a podcast review and sending a DM after you complete it is an extra entry. Click on our show name on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or wherever. Scroll to the bottom and add your rating. Open to U.S. residents 18 and older. All right, so let me do a quick little backstory. You're going to read this story.
Oh.
But this is from a gate agent in MCO.
What? This is our first gate agent story.
I know. So
I want more.
I'm assuming because I think in the story she said her age, former gate agent. But the reason I am prompting you here is I don't know if it was her point, but she does not say what airline she works for, but she gives lots of hints. So we're going to guess, and I want some people in the comments to guess as well and see if we're right. And also, whoever submitted this, please tell us if we're right, because this was kind of hard. I didn't do any research, by the way. I just,
I don't even know what this story is.
I just looked over the story real quick before I put it on here. So I'm going to do this just by process of elimination. Anyways, go for it.
Okay, I will go for it. You know way more about this story than I do. I'm fresh-faced. Okay. Hey, first off, I love the podcast and I'm such a huge fan. So a few years ago, I was working as a gate agent for an international airline out of MCO. Side note, Kevin, I love hearing your MCO stories since I worked there and learned to fly in that airspace. I don't want to say which airline just to help keep it anonymous, but I'll drop a few hints if the investigators listening want to try and figure it out.
Oh, yeah, we're going to figure it out.
And by the way, MCO is Orlando International in Central Florida.
Also known where I gave my last saucy vectors.
Yes, Kevin. Yeah, let's give him even more backstory. Kevin was an approach controller at Orlando, so he knows it from the controller side. I grew up in Orlando, which is why we were living there, and we kept our plane there for a while, so we are very much have a lot of roots in Orlando, Florida. Our airline had a few gates at MCO, and we mainly flew Airbus 320 family with the occasional Boeing 787 or 777 in peak season. I had been working there for a few months at this point. I took the job to get aviation experience while getting my degree at the University of Central Florida and to help pay for my flight training out of KORL, which is Orlando Executive. I just became a lead agent and started leading flights for myself around the time of this story. This started a regular flight, just like any other. As any gate agent will tell you, our turnaround times are tight. This flight was a fully booked A321 that was already a little delayed coming in. I was ahead of this plane like crazy, got everyone boarded with a little over 20 minutes left before departure. And on these international flights, the boarding takes extra long because we have to verify every boarding pass and passport for every passenger. I felt like a boss. Then, just as if the airline gods didn't want me to be happy, I saw 8 passengers were still sitting in the system, not boarded. A little more investigation showed that they were all in the same reservation. So me and my coworker started paging them in the terminal, telling them to come to the gate as their flight was ready to go. After a few pages and no one looking panicked running down the terminal halls, I decided to look into their reservation. I saw the phone number linked to the reservation and I tried calling them. Our airline allowed us to do this. That's really nice.
It is.
After a few calls and one voicemail, nothing. So I just waited for my 10 minutes before departure. Took them off the flight, printed the manifests and other paperwork needed for the flight, and closed the boarding door. Went down the jet bridge and handed the flight attendant the paperwork. She checked with the cockpit and gave me the all clear to close the door. I closed the door and backed the jet bridge off the airplane, parking it beautifully in my little box, if I do say so myself. At this point, me and my coworker were just waiting at the bottom of the jet bridge for the plane to leave. Our airline required us to stay at the bottom until brakes were released and the anti-collision light turned on to start pushback. Just as I was enjoying the beautiful view from gate 93, another hint, by the way, of the airplane with the control tower in the back. Picture is attached for our enjoyment. Not everyone listening, just me and Kevin. I hear a loud thud on the jet bridge door. I turned to my coworker who heard it as well. This gate had a light above the door that showed either green or red to confirm that it was closed and locked. The light was still red, confirming that it was locked and armed, so we didn't think anything of it. Then right as the plane started to push back, something told me to look at the door. I look over to the door and watch as the light switched from red to green. No sooner did alarms start blaring. In an oh shit moment, me and my coworker run full sprint up the jet bridge. At this point, we didn't know what to think. All we know is this is an international flight. CBP and DHS has strict rules and something bad was going to happen. The door opens fully and a family of 8 with, and I kid you not, an 80-year-old grandma with a cane leading the pack starts running towards us. We meet around halfway down the jet bridge. They're screaming at us how they have to get on this airplane and tried to push past us. I'm a 6'1", 220-pound man who's also in the Army National Guard. I'm a big dude, but this family had me stressing.
All right, real quick. Sorry, I called you a woman earlier. I must have been reading the next story. This is a dude.
Clearly a dude.
Sorry.
And this dude can beat your ass, by the way. How dare you assume that it was a woman?
That must be my story.
My coworker and I had to lock arms and brace against the jet bridge to keep them from getting past us. We tried to explain that they cannot be here, but insist on pushing past us. In my head, I'm thinking, what are you going to do? Run and jump 15 feet to the ground on an active tarmac? Break your legs? You effing idiots. But in an effort to not be an ass and keep my job, I kindly keep insisting that they go back up. At this point, another agent who worked with us, who was working a flight at the gate next door, stopped her boarding process, closed her door, and ran over to come help us after she heard the alarms. The 3 of us finally get them back, and we get the boarding door reclosed. I remained on the other side of the door with my coworker so we could have a moment to compose ourselves. I asked her if we should call Orlando Police Department, to which she looked at me and said, I don't know. You're the lead agent. What do we do? And I realized, oh, crap. I am the lead. It's my decision. But I decided it wasn't worth it since they weren't causing an issue anymore, and I probably would have had to fill out a lot of paperwork. But looking back, I feel like that was probably a felony charge, and we should have done something, but I don't know. I'm not a lawyer. Finally, I get back to the computer and have to call security to get the damn alarm to stop blaring throughout the entire terminal. A few minutes later, the alarms turn off, and I look to see what I can do to help them. To my disappointment, I checked to find out that they had booked the absolute cheapest tickets the airline sold with no possibility of refunds or rebookings. There was absolutely nothing I could do on my end. The only thing that they could do is call the 1-800 number and hope that customer service could do something. I felt bad that I couldn't do more to help them. They said that their mother was sick and needed to get back home. Although, in my opinion, she didn't look too sick waving that cane at me on the jet bridge. But when I went back a few hours later to work on another flight, they were gone. So I hope that they figured it out and got home safe. Anyways, sorry if I rambled on too long. I just wanted to share this story with you guys. Not sure if it'll make the podcast or if you'll ever read it, but I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, I got plenty more stories from my time as a gate agent, from a 30-year-old grown woman screaming, crying on the iconic MCO carpet, to a man who got blacklisted from our airline for being a suspected drug mule, to my actual private pilot Checkride having water in the fuel tanks. Thanks for your time. Keep up the great work.
Awesome story. Yes, please submit everything you got.
I want all of those stories. Duh. I think, of course, your story did make it on the podcast.
Yeah, well, this is great. We have not had a gate agent story, and this is the kind of stuff that, you know, entertains me and everybody listening too.
Well, a great story too. I could picture all of this happening the whole time.
Yeah. I mean, what do you do? They busted through the door.
Like, seriously, though, their inner monologue thinking, what effing idiots.
Yeah, what are you going to do? The plane is clearly gone.
And
gone.
ever flown or just know anything about flying, you know how strict it is and how much trouble you can get in for doing anything like that. Like, they are lucky that security and police wasn't around, especially with Hey, with those alarms blaring, why did no security and police show up? What the hell?
That is a good question that I was thinking as well. It's like, how did this not lead to something more?
So all the alarms that are meant to be like, help, something's happening, was going off and no one ran to help you besides another gate agent?
I feel like this is more OPD's problem. What are
And
they
airport
doing?
security.
And security. What are they doing there?
What the hell?
I know what they're doing there. We have a lot of friends at OPD. I know exactly what they're doing.
Yeah, we do. They're doing nothing.
Doing nothing.
They're carrying around Disney backpacks because they're blending in, and they're doing nothing.
Okay, so I want you to take a stab at the airline he works or used to work for. So
What's the French airline? Is there a French airline?
Yes, but I'm going to stop you there. So the key takeaways is Airbus,
MCO,
International, and Gate 93. That's the key takeaways.
Gate 93. How does that help me?
So Gate 93, prior to Terminal C, which I'm not real sure when the story was, Gate 93 was, the 90s are pretty exclusive to international only.
Aer Lingus.
So, well,
I don't know.
So the Airbus 321 should be the kicker on telling you which way this airplane's going.
Kevin.
This airplane can only go one direction.
Kevin, you act like I have any idea the difference between an Airbus and a Boeing. I know that I host an aviation podcast and I've been flying for too long. Over
I'm pretty
13,
certain
14
the
years.
only Airbus that's jumping the Atlantic is JetBlue Mint out of JFK. I'm pretty sure that's the only Airbus that jumps the Atlantic.
What's the point we're making here?
Everybody's going south. They're going south of
the border.
They're going south.
Okay, well, that's a great thinking on your end. You know way more about airlines than I do because you're a controller, so you should be.
Well, this is tough, but the kicker is they said 787s or 777s. So Avianca, Volaris, Aeromexico,
I don't even know half the airlines you're saying.
Bahamas Air,
Bahama Air?
like there's a good amount of them, but there's really only a couple that have heavies. So my guess is going to be LATAM. It's got to be LATAM.
I have no clue. I'm not an airline gal. I like the airline stories, so keep them coming. But I am just like any other person in America when it comes to airlines. People keep asking me, like, when you get to the airlines, what are you going to be flying? I'm like, I don't know. What are the options? I have no clue.
So it's got to be LATAM. I'm not sure if Aeromexico has heavies that fly into MCO, so it could be them. But the other ones I talked about are all like lower cost carriers that pretty much exclusively fly Airbuses and 737s. So
You're so smart to know that it would be going to South America.
well, it has to.
That's a great thought process.
It's going to Bogota, Colombia, specifically.
Bogota.
And if I'm right, please send me a DM. It's going to Bogota, Colombia on the Airbus out of Gate 93 on LATAM.
That's funny. I'm still stuck that the alarm was going off, doing what it was supposed to do. And just imagining these 2 to 3 gate agents locking arms in a jet bridge, holding back 8 people, which that's a small crowd, by the way.
Cane.
That's a small crowd. And they're literally physically holding them back while the alarms are going off, and no one ran to save you guys. What's the point of alarms? What's the point?
I don't know.
The system is broken.
We need more submissions from you.
The system is broken.
Great story. All right. Let's move on to my story and let's see what they got.
I'm going to drink more sunshine while you do this.
Picture this. It's the morning of my instrument check ride at a very well-known Part 141 university, an in-house check since they have examining authority. Clear skies, zero wind. I'm feeling good to go. The oral was a breeze. The pre-flight was going great until I found 2 cowling screws mysteriously loosened on the top, like they're on vacation tanning in the sun. Nice try, Chief. Everything's going perfectly. Last approach of the day, ILS to the home drone. 30 seconds to the final approach fix. I've got the standby frequency punched in. I'm just sitting there waiting for that sweet little diamond to come alive like it's about to propose. Chief turns to me, dead serious. Alternator failure. I'm thinking, bro, I got 30 minutes of battery. We're 30 seconds from the final approach fix. I'll sort out your fake alternator when we're in the chocks. So I say very calmly, Roger, I have sufficient battery to complete the approach. I'll accomplish the checklist on the mist or after landing. He goes, alternator failure. Copy, I'll revisit on landing or mist. I'm prioritizing the critical phase of flight. He goes, alternator failure. It was like talking to the GPS lady when you miss a turn.
Bitch and Betty.
Finally, he drops the hammer. We have to complete an abnormal checklist item on this approach or you don't pass. Fine. I grab the checklist, run the script. Alt switch off, breaker cycle, switch back on, ammeter, green, boom, fixed. He nods. Problem resolved. I look up, ready to be a hero again. And oh no. Now the planes at this school are old enough to vote. And they have this adorable little quirk where the FMS sometimes, when there's a full moon and the fat lady's singing, forgets to auto switch to V-lock right at the final approach fix. Everyone knows it. Everyone watches for it. And of course, out of the close to 100 times I've flown an approach, today is the day it pulls the, I'm just going to stay on the FMS thingy. We're 3 seconds past the final approach fix. Still fat, dumb, and happy on GPS guidance instead of the actual glide slope. I do the ninja hand creep towards the CDI button, and he catches me. Unfortunately, that's a failure. We land, taxi in, and he gives me the softest pink slip in aviation history. Look, I really didn't want to do that, but the ACS is the ACS. Good news, because this was an in-house end-of-course check for the 141 stage. It never hits IACRA. It doesn't count as official disapproval. We'll see you tomorrow. Fly 1 approach, sign you off, and your instrument rated. No harm, no foul. And that's the story of the most expensive 3 extra seconds of my life. Well,
There's another note. Are we reading?
My note.
Oh, sorry. I thought that was part of it.
No. So this is an unfortunate lesson and also an unfortunate situation there because you made up your mind. You determined you were safe to continue the approach, land, and then terminate the flight. And he was not about to have that. And that got you distracted on the thing that actually caused the fail.
Yeah, well, because he has to do some sort of failure, right? So unfortunately makes sense. I agree with the decision making saying, I'm going to put this off. I'm about to land. It's not a big deal.
Right.
But he needed to see him do that. And he just put it at
and that's
the wrong.
not the reason he failed, right?
Yeah.
It's because for those of you kind of a little lost on this story, if we're flying in the clouds and you ever think about how do you figure out where the runway is, there's literally a radio signal on the ground that emits pretty much a highway in the sky. So he was not using that radio signal when he was too close to land. He was still using a GPS.
He was using Apple Maps.
He was using a cell phone, which I got to be honest, as an instructor, I've had a couple students do this exact same thing. So
this
what you've done here is about the smallest tap.
This is such a common occurrence for people to miss that, especially how you said that these planes are about 20 years old or so. That's going to happen. On the newer planes, they're quite lovely and they do it automatically without fail. You still need to check it, but I love that you pointed out that it does it intermittently too, because it's freaking annoying that sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. So it's not quite hardwired in your brain to look for the switch. But this story, for some reason, I was thinking about my dad, just kind of how he was talking. when I was little and my dad, like one of stupid dad joke my dad always did was he'd like point across the room and go, hey, look, there's Elvis. And I was little and never knew who Elvis was. And I would always look. And then my dad would be like, ha, 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 ha. And I'd typically cry because I was really sensitive. And I was just thinking about him. Like, I was just like, and my dad was in that cockpit, he would have definitely pointed out the window and said, look, there's Elvis. And then quickly changed it. And I was like, hey, you got to have your little tools in your tool belt. You should have distracted him to look out the window for a millisecond so you could have changed it.
Well, Mindy's being really nice. I'm going to be a little bit more CFI hat here. So whoever wrote this in, I actually had an alternator failure on a real flight about to enter IMC prior to the final approach fix. And I ran the checklist and I didn't continue the approach, not because I was concerned about losing battery or anything, but I was going to be landing out of about 2 hours away from home and picking up the owners with their young kids. So like there's a little bit more to it, but the point is I still did run the checklist while I was on the localizer prior to the final approach fix when it happened. So the lesson is you do need to run the checklist. The other thing,
I feel like it could go either way. If you're about to land and you get a little cast message saying alternate.
I know.
The alternator. No, don't. I know. We're going to have a conversation right now. The alternator, you get a little alternator failure cast message and you're about to be at the final approach fix. How long do you think until wheels are on pavement on a typical approach to landing?
At the final approach fix, you're going probably less than 5 minutes.
So is that an immediate concern of alternator failure?
No.
Why?
Because you're going to have the battery.
For how long?
Unknown, but roughly 30 minutes.
At least. So even if you didn't kiss the pavement and you had to go missed, you're going to be busy for that next 5 minutes. So now you're 10 minutes in.
Right.
So if you thought that if you were going down to minimums, I'd probably work through a checklist real quick.
But I was.
If it wasn't minimums, it's always risk assessment. Every situation is different. You can't say every single time you have an alternator failure cast message, you should immediately do the checklist.
Right.
My opinion. Because I don't disagree with his decision making. He's like, it's fine out. We're about to land. We're going to ignore that.
Yeah, no, that's true.
I don't know. That's my 2 cents. I don't think that you did the wrong thing on your flight when you were actually in IMC, because that is a bigger risk than what they were doing on their check ride and probably a VMC day. I don't know.
So he had a little commentary. I just wanted to break ours up. And see what he said. So he said, I've thought about the approach 1,000 times since. If I could rewind, I probably would still have fought to finish the approach with the battery power. Protecting the landing when you're that close and stable felt like the safer call. But I also learned something bigger. The Checkride isn't just testing your scan and your checklist flow. It's testing whether you can keep your priorities straight when two perfectly reasonable rules collide head on. That day, the rule about complete every assigned abnormal won over the rule about aviate first. Lesson learned the hard way. In all seriousness, when someone in an interview asks if I've ever failed a Checkride, I look them in the eye and say yes. I tell them exactly what happened, and I tell them that the failure forced me to get deadly serious about task management and source monitoring. But as a CFI working towards my double I still think that in real life alternator failure situation, that close to the final approach fix, I'm landing that plane or going miss before addressing the alternator. Am I wrong? What are your thoughts? So he had a lot of good thoughts. So
that's kind of my
thoughts is I went missed, but not because I wouldn't have landed. Go ahead.
No, just talk louder so I can't talk.
No, go ahead.
We're so married.
What? Anyways, I had a couple other notes too with the 141 thing. I've never did a 141 program, but from getting involved in all the airline interviews for those listening, technically they're right that it doesn't go into IACRA, but it still counts as a failure. Obviously, this listener said that they admit to it, but just be careful with hiding end of stage checks at your 141 program as well. Just wanted to note that.
Yeah, sounds like they're doing that.
Yeah, no, I know. They're not doing anything wrong. I love the back and forth between me and you.
About to do the checklist or not?
No. I think what you said there at the end was everything, like the situations depending on the situation. You know, like this was simulated.
Well, that's when you're flight training, you can only get so much experience. And what your instructor should be teaching you is that every situation's different.
Right.
It's what's the weather? It's what's your currency versus proficiency? Is this your home airport? Is this a rural desert airport with no maintenance on the field? It's who's flying with you? Do you have an experienced ATP rated flight instructor next to you? It's like there's so many things that go into decision making that you can't just firmly say I would do this or that. There's so many variables.
Right. And that's why you were my instructor, because you taught me all those things.
Yeah. I mean, unfortunately, some of this stuff is unteachable. It's just getting people to understand in their mind that we're going to try to give you as much knowledge and structure as possible that you can replicate as much as you can, but no flight ever, even if it's perfect, is the same as another flight. Even if the weather conditions are the same or whatever, there's always something different. And that's why it's so exciting to be a pilot and an aviator, because you're always challenging yourself and you're really getting to scratch your brain all the time.
Can I just point out for a second that like everything you're saying right now is literally what I regurgitated this past week to my student. And it's crazy to me how, obviously you're my wife, but you were my instructor, like how impactful the things that your instructors say to you and how much they stick with you. Like,
oh my God,
I'm
yeah.
not making these things up, right? Like what you just said there, I literally verbatim said you can never prep 100% for what's going to happen because we don't know. And that came from you. And I hope that my students pass that along with their instructors to their students and it carries with them forever.
Yeah. So anyone instructing, that's a great point. Know how impactful you are, that the words you're saying to your students are going to stick with them. You are their most trusted source and number one source of everything that they are learning about this subject, which is a very scary responsibility that you have as an instructor. So it's so important to give them thoughtful things to think about and to research and to share experiences, because it's true. Everything, I'm so lucky that my structure came from some really amazing instructors and that I get to pass it along to people like you and the clients that I fly with. And if you get started on a bad foot with a bad instructor, that's really tough to unlearn.
Yeah. Well, Doughheads, what a good episode.
Great episode. Thanks for writing in as always. And we will catch you guys next week for a fresh episode. And we have that one lined up already. You're not going to want to miss it. And we're going to talk to you guys about our little issue we had in our airplane that we got fixed coming home from Santa Monica.
See you guys.
Thanks for flying with Captain John Doe. If you have a story to share, visit CaptainJohnDoe.com and stay anonymous. New episodes every Wednesday. Be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and tell your favorite crew members.